Welcome, friend of peace and wisdom. Tonight, before the darkness falls and brings stillness to the world outside, we will embark on an even deeper journey, plunging into a territory most of us have either forgotten or actively feared, and that is silence. Not the silence of an empty room, not the silence of external space, but the primal stillness hidden deep within your own soul. Many of us, in the rush of modern life, have been taught that our worth lies in our busyness, in our accomplishments, or in the constant chatter in our heads. We think of silence as empty, as a void that must be filled with noise, with obligations, or with unending plans. But the Zen masters, those who have spent lifetimes listening, discovered a profound and liberating secret. True silence is not an absence of things. It is the home. It is the place where unconditional self-acceptance is born. It is where the weary internal battle that has been raging inside you for too long finally ceases. The battle between the self I should be, the perfect, the successful, the constantly strong one, and the self I actually am, the tired, fallible, and rest-deserving human being. Tonight, we will allow that battle to rest. You will not need to fight the voice of self-criticism. You will not need to strive to fix anything. The only thing you need to do is listen and let go. I will share with you 3 powerful Zen stories, diamonds of wisdom that have been used by monks for centuries. These are not just ancient tales, they are spiritual keys designed to unlock your mind's natural ability to find deep rest and unconditional peace right where you are lying. These stories will help you turn down the volume on the noise of your racing thoughts, the repetitive thoughts that feel like small waves endlessly crashing. And as that noise subsides, you will drift into the most peaceful sleep you have ever known, a sleep uninterrupted by self-judgment or anxiety. And this is what makes this sleep meditation different. It's not just about the temporary relaxation of the body, it's about changing the way you talk to yourself at the deepest level of the subconscious. Consider this. Even when your mind is busy with past mistakes or future worries, these Buddhist teachings never criticize you. They gently guide you back to the home of peace within, where you have always deserved to be. Because, as the Buddha once said, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and compassion, for it is the foundation of all good things. You don't have to earn this compassion. It is yours. It is your very nature. In the hours ahead, as we journey through the story of the broken teacup, teaching you how to forgive your own mistakes. The story of the monk who shed all titles, helping you release the pressure of having to be someone special. And the story of the man who sought his lost axe, revealing how the judging mind creates its own reality of suffering. You will notice a miracle happening within you. Your self-judgment, the voice demanding perfection, will begin to melt away. The inherent fear of not being good enough, the fear of failure, will slow down, and you will find yourself naturally sinking into a state of profound relaxation, where you accept yourself completely. No conditions, no changes necessary, just simply you. So it is time to surrender everything. Allow yourself to relax. Allow yourself to let go. Adjust your pillow. Find that perfect resting spot. Allow your body to settle heavily into your beloved bed. Feel the sturdy support of the mattress beneath you. Now let's take a deep breath together. Inhale slowly, bringing in the freshness, the quiet, and the compassion deep into your body. And as you exhale, know that you have just allowed yourself to rest in the silent acceptance you have been waiting for. Breathe out every bit of tension, every burden. Just let things be as they are. We shall begin with our first story, the one that will help you find peace even in the moments you feel you have failed. Now, allow your attention to gently float along with these words as we enter the ancient monastery where our first profound lesson awaits. Our first story unfolds within an ancient monastery, nestled deep within a misty valley. It is here that a lesson about the nature of mistakes and the devastation of self-criticism will be revealed to you. Once upon a time, in this monastery, there lived a young monk named Kenji. Kenji was exceptionally diligent. He was known as a perfectionist in all his duties. He spent hours meticulously cleaning the monastery, ensuring every fallen leaf was swept and every tea ceremony ritual was performed flawlessly, with almost mathematical precision. He had built his entire sense of self-worth upon this spotless perfection. In Kenji's mind, perfection was equivalent to value, and if he made a mistake, he became worthless. Whenever he committed even the slightest error, a smudge on the wooden floor, a missed beat in meditation, the voice of self-criticism in his head would roar like a wild beast, a cruel internal judge. That voice left him in agony, shame, and continuous anxiety. The harder he tried to be perfect, the louder the voice became, always ready to strike. Feel Kenji's tension in this moment. Perhaps you have felt it too. The tension of trying to hold everything together perfectly to avoid the judgment of others, and most critically, of yourself. On one quiet afternoon, as the setting sun streamed through the paper windows of the Zen hall, Kenji was preparing tea for the headmaster. This was a solemn ritual. In his hands was the headmaster's precious clay teacup, passed down through generations. This cup was a symbol of impermanence and the wisdom of the monastery. Kenji, attempting to place the cup on the low table with too much care, committed a terrible error. The teacup slipped from his grasp and shattered on the cold stone floor. In that instant, Kenji did not hear the sound of pottery breaking. He heard another sound. He heard the sound of his world collapsing. He was instantly paralyzed, like a stone statue. His mind immediately assaulted him with 1,000 arrows. You are useless. You never do anything right. You have ruined the monastery's legacy. The headmaster will banish you. You are a failure. He knelt, picking up the hot fragments, with shame, self-loathing, and intense fear flooding his heart. A tight, constricting feeling in his chest. While Kenji was still kneeling and trembling, the headmaster, an elderly monk with a serene face, entered the room. He saw the shattered pieces and Kenji kneeling in tears. Kenji sobbed out his confession, his voice choked with emotion, bracing for a severe reprimand, a punishment, a confirmation that he was indeed the failure his mind was screaming he was. But the headmaster only looked at the pieces and smiled softly. He said in a calm, melodic voice, "Oh, Kenji, what a beautiful sound." Kenji looked up, his eyes wide with disbelief and tears. "Master, what do you mean?" The headmaster walked closer, gently placing a hand on Kenji's shoulder. The teacup served its purpose for many years. It fulfilled its role, and it broke one last time. Now, it has become something else, a new form. Kenji, why do you cling to a teacup that no longer exists? Kenji stammered, I failed. I broke something precious. My mistake is unforgivable." The master sat down beside him, looking together at the broken pottery on the stone floor. "Kenji, my son," he said softly, "you did not break the cup. The cup broke, but you are breaking yourself with criticism, and that is the real loss. You cling to an illusion, the illusion of perfection that never exists in this world. The perfection of the teacup was that it could break. Your perfection is that you can make mistakes. That is the nature of life." In that moment, Kenji felt a wall collapse within him. He realized the devastating truth. The critical voice in his head was more painful and destructive than the actual breaking of the cup. He was not punished by his action, but punished by his own internal reaction, by that second arrow of self-criticism. Kenji learned the core lesson of acceptance. We are not our mistakes. Take a deep breath. As you relax deeper, carry the image of Kenji and that broken teacup with you. We will continue to explore the profound meaning of this story in the analysis section right now. We now transition from the narrative of Kenji to the deeper wisdom embedded within his experience. Allow these teachings to gently wash over you without needing to strain or understand them intellectually. Simply let them sink into your awareness. We begin with the core truth revealed by the broken teacup. The wisdom quote. Let us reflect again on a teaching from the Buddha that speaks directly to Kenji's pain. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. In Kenji's story, the target of the anger was not the headmaster, and it was not the external situation. The target was Kenji himself. The hot coal he grasped was the belief that he was inherently a failure because an inanimate object had broken. The burning was his immediate, visceral, and overwhelming self-judgment. This simple story is a perfect illustration of the concept we touched upon earlier, the two arrows of suffering. The first arrow is the inevitable pain of life. For Kenji, the first arrow was the cup breaking, the fact of the mistake, the momentary, unavoidable shock of the situation. This arrow causes pain, but it is finite. The second arrow, however, is the optional suffering we inflict upon ourselves through our mental reaction. For Kenji, the second arrow was the chorus of self-condemnation. You are useless, you are a failure, you will be banished. This second arrow is the one that truly causes suffering, keeps us awake at night, and poisons our sense of self-worth. Why are we so quick to shoot this second, painful arrow directly at our own hearts? The Zen perspective. The illusion of fixed self. Zen Buddhism points out that this pattern stems from our profound clinging to a fixed self, the rigid identity of the perfect monk that Kenji was trying to uphold. Clinging to the ideal. We cling to an ideal of who we should be: the flawless parent, the unstoppable worker, the perfect meditator. The threat of reality. When reality, the broken cup, a small error, a missed deadline, threatens this ideal, the ego perceives it as an existential threat. The attack. The mind then reacts by attacking the perceived flaw, thinking that if it criticizes the mistake severely enough, it can somehow restore the illusion of perfection or prevent future mistakes. The headmaster cut through this illusion with one simple question. Why do you cling to a teacup that no longer exists? He was asking Kenji, why do you cling to the belief in a permanent, flawless self when everything in the universe, including the cup and your own character, is defined by change and impermanence? When we accept that we are constantly changing, fallible beings, we allow for mistakes to simply be events, not identities. The cup broke. Kenji made an error. But that is what happened, not who he is. Putting wisdom into practice, mindfulness of self-criticism. To heal the wound of the second arrow, we cultivate mindfulness of self-criticism. This is a powerful, yet gentle, practice you can use right now as you lie on your bed. When that voice of judgment arises, the one that reminds you of something you regret from the day, or worries about a potential future failure, do the following. Step 1. Recognize and name. Do not fight the voice. Simply recognize it. Silently say to yourself, this is the voice of self-criticism. This is the second arrow. By naming it, you create space between you and the thought. You are the observer, not the victim. Step 2. Locate the physical sensation. The second arrow always manifests physically. Where do you feel the self-judgment? Is it a tightness in your stomach? A heavy weight on your chest? A tension in your jaw? Breathe directly into that physical feeling, acknowledging it with kindness, not judgment. You are giving compassion to the hurt, not feeding the hurt with more criticism. Step 3. Offer the headmaster's response. Gently respond to the critical thought with the wisdom of the story. If your mind says, "You should have done better," you can softly reply, "The cup broke. I will not break myself because of it." The deeper acceptance. The Zen master, in his profound wisdom, did not promise Kenji a new perfect cup. He offered acceptance of the impermanent, broken reality. This is the peace we seek in sleep. You are not going to sleep because you have finally become perfect. You are going to sleep because you choose to accept yourself before you are perfect. You choose to stop shooting the second arrow. Let the final realization sink deep into your bones. The only way to truly free yourself from the judgment of others is to first free yourself from your own self-judgment. Tonight, let us release the need for that illusion of perfection. Allow your body to feel heavy, supported, and completely free from the burden of needing to be flawless. With every breath, you are choosing to drop the hot coal of anger and rest in the cool silence of acceptance. Let us prepare now to explore our next teaching, a story that delves into the nature of identity and titles. A very soft, sustained note holds briefly. As the silence settles around the wisdom of the broken cup, allow your mind to gently shift its focus, following us now onto a winding mountain path. Our next story takes us high above the valley floor, where a quiet journey revealed a surprising truth about identity and the fragility of the ego. This lesson teaches us how the names we are called, both good and bad, can become chains that bind us and steal our peace. Once upon a time, high up on a secluded mountain trail, lived a highly respected Zen master named Hakuin. Master Hakuin was so widely revered for his profound insight that he was often called the genius of enlightenment or the supreme sage. Hakuin had a devoted disciple named Taro, who also carried a heavy title. Taro was known throughout the region as the wisest scholar because of his exceptional memory and mastery of the ancient texts. Taro carried this title like a jewel, guarding it fiercely. He derived immense self-worth from this image and constantly strove to live up to the high expectations of being the wisest scholar. Notice how Taro felt. The pressure of a title. Perhaps you too carry heavy titles. The successful entrepreneur, the perfect mother, the reliable manager. These titles give us structure, but they also create a tremendous internal vulnerability. One day, Master Hakuin and Taro were walking through a small, dusty village. As they passed, a crude, loud man on a wild, untamed horse came galloping through the narrow street, carelessly kicking up dust and scattering the wares of an elderly, poor woman. Taro, feeling the moral imperative of his title, the wisest scholar, immediately reacted. He yelled at the man, "You are highly disrespectful. You lack all virtue to behave that way. You must apologize immediately." Taro's title had spoken before Taro himself could think. The man on the horse abruptly stopped. He looked back at Taro, scoffed, and retorted with brutal simplicity, "You are just a nobody and a fool to preach to me." Then he spat and rode off. Taro, who was always called the wisest scholar, felt a physical blow. His self-esteem was severely wounded. He stood there, trembling with humiliation and anger. The negative words had stolen his peace entirely. Master Hakuin, the so-called genius of enlightenment, saw Taro's suffering and spoke softly, "My son, let us go back and agree with him." Taro was astonished. "But Master, I am not a fool. I am the wisest scholar. Why should I agree with him?" Hakuin gently posed the question that is central to this teaching. "Did you notice that wild horse? With just two crude words, nobody and fool, it has stolen your inner peace. If you were not clinging so tightly to your title, the wisest scholar, could you truly be hurt by being called a fool?" Then, Master Hakuin performed the shocking act. He turned toward the path where the rider had disappeared and called out with genuine calmness, "Sir, you are correct. We are indeed foolish. We apologize for having troubled you." The man, hearing no resistance, no argument, and no counterattack, felt confused. His aggression had nothing to push against. He simply rode on, the incident instantly dissolving into the dust. Hakuin turned back to Taro. "Taro, if you accept the pleasant titles, the wisest scholar, you must also accept the unpleasant ones, the fool. They are all just cloaks you wear. You are not the cloak. You are the silence that rests beneath all those titles." From that day forward, Taro began the difficult practice of letting go of the names and labels that people assigned to him. When he released his tight grip on having to be the wisest scholar, he was no longer vulnerable to being wounded when called a fool. He found true freedom and resilience in the emptiness, sunyata, of the ego. He discovered that the pressure to be perfect did not come from the world, but from his own desperate need to maintain an illusionary identity. Let the image of Taro's released tension settle over your own body now. We will now dive deeper into the profound freedom that comes from dropping the heavy luggage of your identities. Allow the profound image of Taro standing exposed, stripped of his title, to settle in your mind. We move now to unpack the wisdom that Master Hakuin revealed, focusing on how this lesson can grant you ultimate freedom in your daily life. The wisdom bridge. The suffering that Taro experienced, the wave of anger and humiliation, was not caused by the words of the crude man. It was caused by the fragility of his attachment to his internal label. Let us consider a deep teaching from the highly respected Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh. The root of suffering is attachment to the illusion of the self. Taro's story beautifully illustrates this attachment. He was attached to the illusion of the wisest scholar. When the rider called him a fool, it was not merely an insult, it was a perceived attack on his existence. The Zen perspective, the vulnerable ego. In Zen practice, the ego is understood as a collection of ideas, memories, roles, and titles that we constantly seek to protect and affirm. The ego as a fortress. We build an ego fortress using positive titles: successful, intelligent, good person. These titles are meant to keep pain out and affirm our worth. The weakness of the fortress. However, any fortress requires constant defense. If someone calls us unsuccessful, even falsely, the ego fortress must mobilize to fight, defend, or counterattack. This act of defense is stressful, exhausting, and leads to suffering. The secret of Hakuin. Master Hakuin showed Taro the secret of non-resistance. When he agreed with the insult, "We are indeed foolish," he dissolved the conflict immediately. He showed Taro that when you drop the need to defend the title, the insult loses its power. The words simply become air passing by, like the sound of the wild horse's hooves. Think about the titles you cling to. Are you clinging to the need to always be right? To always be strong? To always be busy? These needs feel necessary, but they are heavy burdens that prevent deep rest. Taro's journey was not about becoming smarter than the insult. It was about realizing he was not the title. He realized that his true identity rested in the pure awareness that existed before the labels were applied. When you practice Zen, you cultivate the capacity to sit in the no-title space. In this space, you are not the CEO. You are not the debt you owe. You are not the argument you had today. You are simply the awareness observing the CEO, the debt, and the argument. This awareness is untouchable by any insult or compliment. It is the deep, silent core of your being. Putting wisdom into practice. The letting go practice, the dropping of cloaks. As you lie here, relaxing deeper into your bed, use this powerful visualization practice to prepare your mind for sleep. Imagine yourself wearing a heavy cloak, and embroidered on this cloak are all the titles you carried today. The responsible one, the worried one, the productive one. Take a deep breath. Now, on the exhale, imagine you are unclasping that cloak. Feel the physical relief as the weight lifts from your shoulders. Let it fall to the floor beside your bed. Repeat this silently with me, focusing on a title you are ready to drop tonight. I breathe in acceptance. I breathe out the title. Name your heavy title, e.g., the perfect mother, the stressed employee.
Feel the freedom that comes with knowing that this title is not you. You are the awareness, the boundless sky, and these titles are just temporary clouds passing through. The ultimate peace. The peace that Master Hakuin gifted Taro was not external, it was the peace of non-defense. The peace of realizing that the search for eternal approval is futile in an impermanent world. By letting go of the need to be permanently the wisest scholar, Taro finally allowed himself the space to be just Taro, a simple, free man. Allow yourself this same deep, simple rest. You are enough, without any titles. You are safe, without needing to defend any image. Let the words of the horse rider dissolve into the mountain air. Let the image of your heavy cloak remain on the floor. You are ready to enter the vast, silent space of sleep, untouched by the ego's demands. In our next story, we will explore how our mental judgments not only hurt ourselves but also distort the reality we perceive. A very soft, sustained note holds briefly. Now, allow the final vestiges of your daily identity to dissolve. We turn our attention to the last of our 3 Zen wisdom stories tonight. A story that holds the mirror up to the power of our judgmental mind and how it distorts the world we perceive. Our final tale unfolds in a simple farming village, focusing on a man whose inner peace was stolen not by an event, but by a simple assumption. This is the story of the lost axe. Once upon a time, there lived a hard-working farmer named Li. Li's life depended on his tools, and chief among them was his favorite, precious axe, the perfect weight, the perfect balance, the one that made every stroke efficient. One morning, Li went to his small woodshed and discovered his beloved axe was missing. It was gone. Panic immediately set in, quickly followed by anger and resentment. The axe was essential for his livelihood. Lee began to search frantically, but it was nowhere to be found. In his frustration and suspicion, Lee's mind immediately focused on his neighbor's son, a young boy from the local blacksmith family. Ah, Lee thought, his mind racing. It must be him. He's always idling about, peering into my shed. He is a spoiled, dishonest child. He must have stolen it. Lee's mind had created a story. The boy is the thief. From that moment on, Lee started watching the blacksmith's son with intense, critical focus, and the most remarkable thing happened. Everything the boy did seemed to confirm Lee's initial suspicion. When the boy walked down the lane, Lee saw. He walked stealthily and slinking, like a thief trying to avoid detection.
When the boy spoke to his father, Lee heard. He spoke in a guilty, evasive whisper, clearly hiding a terrible secret. When the boy happened to look Lee's way, Lee felt. His eyes were shifty and nervous, full of the anxiety of a guilty conscience. Every single action, every glance, every movement of the boy was filtered through Lee's initial judgment, confirming the narrative that the boy was a thief. Lee felt completely justified in his anger and was preparing to confront the boy's father, certain that he had solved the crime. Feel the intensity of Lee's certainty. Have you ever felt this way when judging yourself? I am a failure. And suddenly, every small event confirms that judgment. Lee decided to clear out his old woodshed fully to ensure the axe wasn't there before the confrontation. As he moved a heavy pile of old dry kindling that he rarely touched, he was shocked to see his axe lying perfectly wrapped in a piece of burlap right underneath the wood. Lee immediately realized what had happened. He had placed the axe there himself, days ago, planning to do some trimming, and had completely forgotten about it. The axe was never lost. His piece was. Lee felt a deep, profound wave of shame wash over him. The axe was never stolen, he muttered to himself, but I stole my own piece and destroyed my neighbor's innocence with my own mind. Later that day, Lee saw the blacksmith's son walking down the same lane. When the boy walked, Lee saw he walked naturally and straightforwardly, just like any other child. When the boy spoke, Lee heard. He spoke honestly and clearly, without any hint of guilt. When the boy looked Lee's way, Lee felt. His eyes were bright and innocent. Lee understood a deep truth. The boy had not changed. Lee's judging mind had changed. When his mind was fixed on a negative story, the judgment, everything outside confirmed that story. When the judgment dissolved, the world returned to its natural, innocent state. This story teaches us that judgment is a mirror. When we see suspicion and guilt outside, it often reflects a suspicion and lack of trust in our own minds. Allow this realization to calm your mind deeply now. We will take this wisdom and apply it directly to your experience of self-judgment in the analysis that follows. Allow the wisdom of the farmer Lee's sudden realization to settle deeply into your consciousness. We now explore the profound implications of this story on your inner peace and your relationship with the world, and most importantly, with yourself. The wisdom bridge, the source of suspicion. The core truth of the Lost Axe story is this: suspicion breeds its own evidence. Before Lee found the axe, every action of the boy was interpreted through the lens of guilt. After Lee found the axe, every action of the boy was interpreted through the lens of innocence. The boy's actions did not change. Lee's mental framework changed entirely. This mechanism is what the Buddha taught about the suffering created by our own thoughts. Our mind is not a neutral camera, it is a powerful projector. When we feel anxious, insecure, or self-critical, the internal lost axe, our mind projects that insecurity outwards, and we begin to see thieves everywhere, in the rude co-worker, the impatient driver, or the critical neighbor. The most common projection, however, is aimed inward. When we are afraid we are not good enough, we are constantly looking for evidence of our failure. A small mistake at work becomes a clear sign of our incompetence. A forgotten task becomes proof of our unworthiness. A moment of rest becomes confirmation of our laziness. This internal judgment is our own personal lost axe story. We are convinced the axe, our value, our peace, has been stolen by some flaw, and we waste immense energy hunting down the supposed thief, our own mistakes or imperfections. Zen masters teach the concept of emptiness, sunyata, meaning that all things, including the boy's walk or Lee's actions, are empty of inherent, fixed meaning. They are neutral until we assign a meaning to them. Lee's mind, before finding the axe. Lee filled the boy's neutral actions with the meaning of guilt. Lee's mind, after finding the axe. Lee saw the boy's neutral actions as the meaning of innocence. The liberation comes when we realize the mind has the power to fill or empty the world. We can choose to stop projecting the suffering of our own fear and insecurity onto the neutral canvas of reality. If Lee had been trained in mindfulness, he would have noticed the internal state of suspicion arising before he judged the boy. He could have simply named the feeling. Suspicion is present. And in naming it, he would have broken the mechanism of projection. When you practice mindfulness in sleep, you interrupt your mind's tendency to run the lost axe story about yourself. You observe the thought, I am going to fail tomorrow. Instead of arguing with it, you gently ask, is this the lost axe story? Is this just suspicion projecting fear? By asking this question, you are separating the observer, you, from the story, the anxiety. The story loses its grip because you realize the axe, the potential for failure, isn't necessarily lost. It's simply misplaced by your mind's fear. Putting wisdom into practice, releasing the projector. As you lie here, fully supported and safe, let us practice releasing the inner projector of judgment. Take a deep, slow breath. With every inhale, feel the sense of trust and safety filling your lungs. Now, as you exhale, imagine the tension of your inner critic, the voice that judges your body, your performance, or your relationships is being gently released. We will do a final check. Acknowledge the fear. If a thought of worry or judgment arises, simply acknowledge it. Worry is present. Locate the axe. Ask yourself, am I sure this worry is an objective truth? Or is this the lost axe, the assumption that something is fundamentally wrong with me? Rest in the truth. The ultimate truth is that right now, in this moment, you are safe. Your body is resting. You are not the judgment. You are the awareness, resting peacefully in the bed. Let the final wisdom of this story guide you towards sleep. If you trust your own inherent goodness, finding the axe, the goodness in the world, the innocent boy, will reveal itself to you. When you cease judging yourself, you cease projecting judgment onto the world, and peace is immediately restored. You have now gathered the wisdom of all three stories. You have surrendered the need for perfection, the broken cup. You have released the pressure of your titles, the wild horse, and you have quieted the voice of judgment, the lost axe. You are now simply awareness, resting unconditionally. We will move now into a final summary and deep sleep induction. We have completed our journey through the teachings, and now we arrive at the threshold of deep rest. In this moment of stillness, allow the wisdom of these three powerful Zen stories to merge within you, forming a single, unbroken current of peace. Take a moment to simply be with the quiet satisfaction of having completed this inner work. You have not just listened to stories. You have internalized timeless wisdom that dismantles the structures of self-criticism. Let us briefly revisit the 3 keys you have gathered tonight. Remember Kenji, kneeling amidst the shattered clay. The cup breaking was the first arrow, the unavoidable pain of human fallibility. Your immediate self-judgment, the I am a failure, was the second arrow, the optional suffering. Tonight, you have given yourself permission to stop shooting the second arrow. The practice. Gently affirm, I accept my fallibility. My worth is not dependent on my performance. I will not break myself because of a mistake. The sensation. Feel the release in your chest. Let the muscles around your heart soften. This is the physical sensation of dropping the hot coal of self-anger. Let your entire being relax into the truth that it is okay to be human, and it is okay to simply rest. Recall Taro, stripped of his title, standing free in the mountain air. The pressure, the stress, and the extreme vulnerability came not from the insult, but from his tight clinging to the ideal of being the wisest scholar. You have learned to drop your cloak tonight. The practice. Let go of the need to be defined by what you do or what people call you. Silently acknowledge any lingering titles. The worried one, the overworked one, the one who needs to be perfect, and let them float away. You are not these roles. The sensation. Feel the lightness in your shoulders and neck. Notice the subtle energy that was being used all day to defend that title. Now, that energy is returned to you, ready to be channeled into deep rest and healing. You are simply awareness, unbound and free. Finally, remember Farmer Lee, realizing the innocent truth about the boy after finding his misplaced axe. His suffering was entirely an illusion created by projected suspicion. You have silenced the inner projector of suspicion tonight. The practice. Every anxious or self-critical thought is merely the lost axe story. Ask yourself, is this fear an objective truth, or is it a projection of my mind's insecurity? Gently choose to trust your own inherent goodness. The sensation. Feel the subtle relaxation in the muscles around your eyes and forehead. Let the tension of needing to scrutinize yourself dissolve. You are safe. You are not being judged by this moment, and you do not need to judge yourself. The final synthesis, unconditional acceptance. The ultimate wisdom of these 3 teachings is that peace is not the result of fixing yourself. Peace is the result of accepting yourself. The peace you seek is not waiting for you after you solve all your problems. It is available to you now in the act of choosing non-resistance to your current state. You are not flawed, you are simply a manifestation of impermanence, beautifully and perfectly incomplete. As we transition now toward the deep induction of sleep, allow this final image to guide you. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a vast, dark, calm lake. This lake is the silent awareness beneath all your thoughts. The worries, the titles, and the self-judgments are just ripples on the surface. You don't need to smooth the ripples. Just step into the calm depth of the water. Feel the cool, supportive liquid enveloping you. It carries no judgment, no expectations, and no titles. It simply holds you. Let the surface thoughts, the ripples, continue if they must. But you, the true you, are now resting in the deep, silent current underneath. Your task is complete. Your work is finished. There is nothing left to do but allow your body and mind to surrender completely to this deep, silent holding. You are ready now to be gently guided into the profound, restorative phase of sleep. We have arrived. The journey is complete. The wisdom is yours. You are now floating effortlessly in the vast, calm lake of silent awareness. There is no more clinging, no more defense, no more searching for the axe. There is only rest. Allow your eyes to close completely, if they are not already. Seal out the light and welcome the soft darkness behind your eyelids. We begin the final surrender, moving our attention gently through your physical form, inviting every part of your body to let go completely. Bring your awareness now to your feet. Feel the heaviness of your heels and the soles of your feet resting against the mattress. With a deep exhale, release all the walking, standing, and striving that your feet have done today. Let your feet become soft, warm, and deeply relaxed. Let go. Now, move your attention to your ankles and calves. Feel any residual tightness, and with your next gentle breath out, dissolve it. Your calves are softening, sinking deeper into the bed. They are heavy. They are safe. Rest. Move your awareness up to your knees and thighs. These are powerful muscles, holding the weight of your body throughout the day. Now, they have permission to be completely inactive. Feel your thighs become limp, heavy, and completely supported by the cushion beneath you. No movement, no tension. Surrender. Your entire lower body, from your hips down to your toes, is now profoundly heavy and relaxed. Imagine a wave of warmth flowing from the crown of your head, washing down, pooling in your legs, grounding you firmly to the earth. You are safe here. You are anchored. Bring your attention to your abdomen and lower back. This area often holds the subtle stress of the day. Release any tension you find here. Allow your belly to be soft, receptive, and gentle as you breathe. Feel your lower back pressing lightly into the mattress. Release the center. Now focus on your chest and heart space. This is the place of the broken teacup, the place where we hold self-criticism. Allow the muscles around your heart to soften. Release any lingering guilt, shame, or sense of inadequacy. You are accepted, fully and completely, by the boundless awareness. Your heart is safe. Your chest is quiet. Be kind. Move your attention down your arms, to your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms. Allow them to become heavy, like driftwood floating in calm water. There is no need to hold or grasp anything. Let your arms be completely useless for this time of sleep. Focus on your hands and fingers. These are the tools of your striving. The hands that work, that hold the phone, that type, that worry. Gently unclench your fists. Let your palms be soft and open. Let your fingers curl naturally and lightly. Release all the doing. Rest the hands. Now, your neck and shoulders. This is often the site of the heaviest titles and burdens. Remember Taro, dropping his cloak. Let your shoulders melt down away from your ears. Feel the weight of the day, the responsibility, the expectations, gently pouring out of your neck and shoulders, soaking into the mattress. Your neck is long and loose. Your shoulders are free. Melt away. Finally, bring your awareness to your face and head. Let us relax the final fortress of the ego. Relax your jaw. Let your teeth part slightly. Let the muscles soften. Relax your tongue in your mouth. Soften the small muscles around your eyes. Let your eyelids feel heavy, heavy, heavy. Smooth the skin on your forehead. Release the tension that holds worry. Your entire body is now deeply, profoundly relaxed. You are sinking. You are floating and sinking simultaneously. The final anchor, bring your entire awareness to the simple, soft movement of your breath. Feel the gentle rise on the inhale and the gentle fall on the exhale. The breath requires no effort. It is happening all by itself, a continuous flow of life, support, and peace. Let your thoughts come and go, like the quiet, distant stream in the monastery. Do not follow them. Do not engage with them. Simply notice them and return to the deep, slow rhythm of your breath. You are safe. You are accepted. You are free. The time for analysis is over. The time for rest is here. Go deeper now, deeper into the calm, deeper into the silence. Allow yourself to drift, float, and surrender completely to the natural, healing power of sleep. Sleep now, sleep deeply, sleep well. And now, as you sink deep into your rest, carry with you the unconditional acceptance you have found tonight. Remember this: peace is not a destination, it is your natural state. You don't have to seek it outside, for it is always here, in the silence of your breath. If these teachings have brought you relief and led you to a deeper sleep, I invite you to leave a small sign, a like, or share your thoughts in the comments below. Your interaction helps others who are also seeking peace find their way to us. If you wish to continue your journey of exploring Buddhist wisdom and using meditation to transform your life, please subscribe to our channel, Buddhist Wisdom. We are committed to bringing you profound and authentic guided meditations built on ancient wisdom to help you sleep better, live mindfully, and find joy in every moment. Thank you for your trust and for listening. I wish you a peaceful night, a deep sleep, and beautiful dreams. I look forward to meditating with you next time. Namaste.